Hi everyone, I'm Steve, back here with Brian Sanchez. Brian Sanchez is a personal trainer at Fitness for 10 in Carson City, Nevada. Go say hi to him if you're in the area, if you have questions. Brian, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on again today, Steve. Always excited to sit and talk with everybody and share what we think we can do to help another.
Yeah, so we're having fun. Okay, so we put out a video for anyone who has a question or a topic that they want us to cover, either with one of our doctors that we interview or one of the personal trainers that we interview. And that video is right here if you want to go check it out. And you can put your question or the topic that you'd like us to cover in that video. So, one of the questions that we're going to address right now is the best weight training splits to build muscle. So, what is meant by this question, I think, is how do you break up your body parts? What do you train throughout the week on what days, and how do you group the body parts to train to build muscle? That's the question. So, Brian, again, this is a big topic, a lot of variables. So, let's talk about a workout program and how to organize it and how you can potentially split up the muscles or body group or body parts for training. Go ahead.
Well, I think first, I think with any kind of workout routine, the biggest thing we have to make sure is when we step into a gym is that we do have a plan. And I'll get to this split side of things, but it's really important because when you're walking into a facility to get your workout on, you want to be efficient in your time. In order to be efficient in your time, you have to have a prepared plan of some kind. Some people write it down, some people have it on their phone, some people might just know it in your mind. But be prepared when you walk in, know what you're going to hit and why you're going to hit it. You have to define your goal too, Steve. Um, because when we say just what is the best split routine, I don't know if there's a best. There's several options and several ways to approach this. Um, but when you use the split system, what I like about it is it does develop efficiency in your programming. If my goal is to go maximal strength, I'm going to approach my split in a certain way based on the repetitions, what I'm going to hit, what my rest time is. Something you talk a lot about, intensity and volume. I need to know how many days, how often I'm going to rest my body. It's very, very important. I want to make sure in my routines, if I have a plan, I'm not going to overtrain my body. We have to have that rest. More importantly, we're not going to miss parts of our body. And it's really interesting. You'll go into a facility and you'll see all kinds of bodies. And this isn't bagging on people, but you're going to see people that have overemphasized certain parts of their bodies, where they might have one really huge left bicep and a real small right calf because they didn't focus on that right calf because they really liked how their bicep looked on their left hand side, and people want to target certain zones thinking that they're doing themselves a benefit. Now, if you're an arm wrestler and you're lefty, yeah, go for it with that left arm. But if we have a nice split, we should be able to cover the totality of the body and not, diminish our gains or have an unbalanced body or out of proportion body. The other good thing about a split system is as a part of your planning, you're never guessing when you walk in. So you know how you'll see people wander from certain things and looking around trying to think, and you know in their mind they're going, what do I do next? It's because they don't have that plan. And they might work on just certain things that they like, well, they'll never cover their entire body. Um, the other thing about the splits that I like when you have plans is if somebody's coming in to do that workout and they know they're doing a chest press type of motion and they're going to have in their split that day a seated chest press, but all the machines are taken, they know they have to have a pressing motion chest exercise where they can go to other options either on dumbbells, cables, benches, so they never miss that part of the body. And you're not wandering or you're not waiting 10 minutes as you see in our Don't Be That Bro series, waiting 10 minutes for a guy to get off his phone and do a set so you can get the equipment. So, with that said, split routines. What's the best one? A lot of them. And the reason I say that is we've worked with all kinds of people and I've tried a lot of different ways. You have your upper, lower splits. Let's say you're in here for um, just maintenance of the body. You can work out 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week. We could go a Monday upper, Wednesday total, and a Friday lower split. And we write it out like that. The idea would be performance, so we'd work out the repetition, the levels, and the intensity for it. If we're going to do heavy lifting, as an example, maybe we do a front back or a push pull where we're pressing away from the body all day on one split, come back and we pull everything into the body on the next day. Those are great options for your strength training, hypertrophy. Some of the stuff I like to do for myself because I do love the strength side of it. Is I do a 4 day split lift with one alternative workout in there, and then there's 2 days I'm not lifting at all or exercising. I'm resting my body, and something like that. I'm doing a leg day with some core added to it, a chest day, a shoulder day, a back day, probably a little more core added to it, and an alternative day. And in my alternative day, it's a lot of movement exercises, a lot of stability exercises. I'll probably throw in some kettlebell swings, things like that, or some battle ropes, or some sleds. So you have lots of options. What we have to define for you, if you're coming in and we're working together on something, Steve, is you say, Brian, I want to maximize my bench press and my squat and my deadlift. I want to maximize the big three. So we're going to put that program together. I'm going to be asking you, all right, brother, what do you eat and how much do you eat every day? How much sleep you getting? What do you do for your living? Are you sitting all day long? What kind of shoes do you wear? Because I want to know if you're on your toes all day. If you're wearing cowboy boots all day, I'm going to tell you, zip them off in this routine. Let's go flat shoes for the next 8 weeks. We're going to set up something with measurables so we can see the success of the routine. After a certain amount of time on those splits, your body's going to say, yo, I got this. And then we have to change it up. So I don't think there's one right answer. I recommend for people try a couple different versions, get with us, ask us questions. Maybe we can put something together with you. Try it out. Doesn't mean you even have to sign up with us. Just try it out. If it works for you and you're seeing gains and we get the right measurables in there, you see your bench press going up, your deadlift going up, your squat going up, we're going in the right direction. But in about 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to want to change that routine up and go at it again so we can keep that measuring going on. Also, not to forget about it, your resting is very, very important. And you get people that want to come in and work out all the time. And some people truly do believe that they have to lift to max every time they come into the gym, especially when they split their workouts out. Well, you and I both know that's not how we gain our strength necessarily. It'll keep you strong, but we want to work at certain percentages of it. In your first routine, your first week, you might be at 60% of your maximal levels. The week two, you might be going to 70%. Week three, you might start out at 75%, start working your way into 85%. Your repetitions will clearly change with that. When we're in the lower levels of our training in those split routines, our repetitions for our sets may be in the hypertrophy zone when we're trying to get, 10 to 12. But then when we're getting up into the higher ranges and you're getting up into 85, 90, 95% of your maxes, you're talking 1 to 3 repetitions just to get that training on because you've done all those sets in there. So we have to find out a nice balance for every person. I will tell you that everything works for the most part, but based on your body, how your body operates, your metabolism, what you're eating, we have to find the right split for you.
You know, you're right. There's so many variables here. For instance, I do a push-pull legs, and a typical split that I'll use is okay, push. Means I'm going to work my chest, my shoulders, and my triceps. Those are all basically pushing exercises. I'm going to do my legs. That's all lower body, all of them. And maybe my abs and lower back go in with that also. Then a pull workout. A pull would be basically my lats and my biceps. Lat pull, seated row, and biceps. Now I could do a 5-day program on that split. So Monday, if I want to take weekends off, Monday I'll do back and biceps. Tuesday I'll do legs. Wednesday I'll do the push workout, chest, shoulders, triceps. Thursday I'm back to the pull. And then Friday back to the legs. So in that week, I only did I can't remember the way I said it, but the push workout, I only did that once a week. Next week, I'll do it twice a week. So that's one way to do it. And you talked about a 4-day split, upper, lower. You can do your upper body on Monday and Thursday. You can do your lower body on Tuesday and Friday. So you're taking Wednesday and the weekend off. Again, what I always emphasize, that intensity level has to match the recovery. The recovery has to match your intensity level. So you don't always push yourself 100%. So you need to be in tune with your body for a split, but there's lots of ways that you can do it. We talked about push, pull, legs. Well, you can combine smaller muscles, opposite muscles, bigger muscles like chest and back. That would be chest and back, which would be bench press and lat
Excuse
pull.
me.
So and so on. You can do your biceps and triceps together. What body parts do you want to emphasize? But you need to make sure and be aware that, okay, if I'm doing a chest and back and shoulders one day, and then I'm doing an arms the next day, you worked your arms the day before. So you may need a rest day in between there before you do your arms, because if you're doing pull-ups for your back, you're still working your biceps. So you need to make sure that you have the proper recovery in the workout. So again, there's lots of ways to break this down and lots of muscle combinations that you can do. And usually people who are trying to build strength, just pure strength, they have more rest periods. They have a power lifter will do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout, and they'll emphasize the 3 power lifts, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. So it's just once a week. They're working out 3 days a week, but they're emphasizing the deadlift motion on Wednesday, the squat motion on Friday, the bench press motion. Those are the 3 lifts for power lifters. So we could talk about this forever, because there's so many different ways to cut this up. But to specifically add one point to the question, best split for building muscle, you have to make sure your recovery time is matching your intensity level and your volume so that you can recover from your workouts. Higher intensity, more rest. Lower intensity, maybe more volume, maybe more rest, maybe less, all depending. So that's what has to match. And yeah, and changing it around is great. So that's my 2 cents on different ways. And like I said, we could talk for another hour and a half on this, on different ways we can split up the body. But hopefully that answers the question, or at least gets you going in the right direction to where okay, I got a few more questions. Well, what are they? Put them in the comment section and we'll try to get to them. So that's my input, Brian.
Well, and that brings up another part when you talk about the question, something we had discussed in another conversation, real quick. Um, you received a question in one of our comments on hard to reach areas, on how do I get to hard to reach areas? When people come in and they're looking at their routines and how to develop them, and let's say somebody's working on their splits and they had a midriff issue and they want to work on their midriff and they want to focus solely on those zones. That's really not the best idea to create muscle size or muscle mass or muscle strength to diminish the size of your body and your waist. So you have to really approach the body as a whole. Make sure your body is stabilized. Make sure you're working on your flexibility. 100% have a meal plan. If you are not fueling your system, your muscles aren't going to volumize. You're not going to get stronger and attack all areas to include. Another interesting thing for those people listening today is you notice when Steve and I were talking, we don't necessarily bring up the idea of just using a day for our arms. Both of us, when we talked about it, noted that our arms are incorporated into other things. It's really important to understand, unless you're getting ready for a show, your arms are used almost every workout in one way, shape, or form. So you have to pay attention to that so you don't overuse your triceps and you don't overuse your biceps. They need a lot of rest. They're
Yeah,
tiny
good
little
point.
guys.
And a lot of those topics, we'll get to them. One was, how do I get rid of my flabby arms? Well, there's not really a silver bullet for that, but we'll get to it, and we'll get to all these other questions. It's going to be fun. So thanks for being with us, Brian. Brian's at Fitness for 10 in Carson City, Nevada. Go by and say hi to him. Thanks for being with us, Brian.
Take care, Steve. See you, everybody.